Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Tuesday market review. Here we're going to be taking a look at the crypto market along with some indexes and giving an outlook for the week ahead, along with potentially some thoughts going into the yearly close and 2026. What is 2026 going to have in store for us? So let's get into the video. This video is for informational purposes only and reflects my personal views. It's not financial advice, and always consult a qualified financial advisor before making investment decisions. Right, I was off last week. Well, not really, just was away from my desk and working from my laptop. So to do videos and edit videos and upload videos is not the best for my laptop. So we're back this week with content and resuming as normal. If you want to find my content daily, you can check out the link at the top of the description. I'm posting daily trades, thoughts, write-ups in Wealth Group Discord. On screen, you can see the market report that I posted for the group last week. I was taking a look at Bitcoin and just discussing what is in store for the next couple of months, and taking a look at a bunch of technical analysis along with some macro events, Bitcoin and gold and cycle outlook. So you can actually find these reports weekly from me in the group. And if you follow my blog, I'll be posting a write-up on Friday, taking a look at the higher time frame side of things. As you know, I do a write-up sort of every quarter, look at the higher time frame side of things for Bitcoin and for the market, and sort of laying out a plan ahead for what could be in store for the market for the next quarter and so on. So keep an eye out on my blog. So we're going to start off discussing the higher time frame on BTC. This is something I noticed last week, but you might remember here on my channel me discussing the time-based fib trend tool. This one here, the trend-based fib time. So essentially what we do, we mark the low of the cycle for the cycle high for the cycle low, and what it does, it prints us in an area. So that area you can choose anywhere, like from any fibs. What I tend to like to choose is these 0.618 to the 1 to the 1.382. And historically, if you do that for every cycle, it marks a period of where, you know, we get that true sort of bullish uptrend in the market. And then usually in the red section, or not usually, you know, 100% hit rate in the red section, you will always see the cycle top, and usually you get sort of like a blow off top during this red period. So, you know, yet to see that sort of blow off top from Bitcoin. You know, whether we do get that blow off top is something that we have to discuss, but we're moving into that red zone, right? And historically, every time we have moved into that red zone on the monthly, we've seen a market-wide pullback and a pullback of like 30+%. We can see back in 2013, as soon as we moved into this 1 to 1.382, 53% pullback. Again here, August 2017, 1 to the 1.382, we see a 40% pullback. Again here, back in April 21, into the 1 to the 1.382, we see a 55% pullback. And once again, you guessed it, we've seen a pullback from BTC, 36% in fact from the high, and moving into that red zone. So of course there is a chance that this was the cycle top. Personally, I'm still leaning towards the fact that the cycle top is not in, and we'll discuss that a little bit on Friday, but equally we'll discuss it today here in my YouTube video quickly as we would whiz through some things. But yeah, considering that this is just yet another big pullback and a consolidation period before the next leg up in the cycle, right? So we've had the leg up, big pullback, leg up, right, leg up, big pullback, leg up, big pullback, leg up, right, and so on. So, you know, of course we're seeing a much slower and less volatile market, as we have done in the past, with much smaller like upside and downside moves. So, you know, this move would definitely not be as aggressive, but we could definitely see price start to grind back up to the 140 to 150k going into Q1 of next year. Also, to sort of back up my thoughts here, if we take a look at the BTC gold chart, we're forming a really nice divergence down here on the Bitcoin gold chart. We have formed a double bottom on the weekly. That classic double bottom price action you'll find is memed a lot, but in fact does work. Equally, so does double tops, right? We can see a very similar thing here, sort of double top, and now we're seeing a double bottom from the BTC gold chart. Obviously, gold has been mega strong lately. So one of the main reasons, you know, we've seen gold being strong, BTC being weak. So obviously the BTC gold chart is going to take a hit. What we do want to take a look at, and I've discussed this previously, is the fact that we now have a buy signal as well on the weekly. Historically, a buy signal on the BTC gold chart has offered some sort of local bottom. Even on the Z score, if we look at the Z score on the BTC gold chart, there's only been sort of 4 occasions before where the BTC chart was this low on the Z score, right? Bear market lows November 22, bear market lows March 2020, bear market lows November 2018, and then bear market lows in January 2015. So BTC is heavily sold off against gold. I do think this is prepping up for a move. You know, not exactly from here. We have to see how the Fed pivot in December. You know, next Wednesday we have FOMC meeting, which is going to be a very key meeting. Probabilities have shot up, and the fact that the Fed are going to cut rates, I think the market is heavily leaning on the fact that this will happen. So wouldn't be surprised if we do see a move up for the rest of the week and into next week as the market starts to price in a rate cut. But we'll discuss a little bit more of that shortly on the lower time frame side of things. The higher time frame, yeah, got some buy signals on BTC weekly. Also got some buy signals on the MicroStrategy chart. On the 3-day, we in fact have strong buy signals. This is actually a strong buy signal as well for me, but it in fact did not print one. It's just an invalid print, but this is a strong buy signal on the Bitcoin gold chart. Again, MicroStrategy chart seeing some strong buy signals come in on the 3-day, and weekly is starting to show some strong buy signals as well. Again, with the Z score super undervalued. So overall, the market is prepping for a move up. I do think the weakness from Bitcoin is I wouldn't say fake, but compared to the rest of the market, you know, we have been very weak, you know, if we compare it to stocks and just in general, and any trading commodity at the moment, like BTC has been ridiculously weak, and obviously crypto as well. I do think we're due some relief, and this is likely gonna turn with the heads of what the Fed do next Wednesday. So to discuss BTC a little bit on the lower time frame, I did try and just take a small short on Bitcoin following this sell signal, which I got like a 0.7% move and got stopped flat. I'm not looking to short aggressively into this move just yet. I may see if we get another sell trigger at some point come in from Bitcoin, like another strong sell signal, and looking to get short. I do think that this is a good place for a reversal, and if we don't see a reversal from here, obviously given the state of this move and the V shape, as guess you could call it, that could be a good sign of strength, right? If we do start to flip 91k, I'm fairly sure we're going to be taking a move towards sort of 98, and as I said, and we sort of price in that FOMC into that rate cut, right? We've seen the market price this in historically over the past couple months, moving based on what the Fed are doing, and we'll probably see a similar move yet again if we do flip 91k. I wouldn't be surprised to see us grind up sort of to 98 to 102k over the course of the next week into FOMC next week as we price in a rate cut. I did post a little bit about this sort of inefficiency in the Wealth Group Discord this morning, and equally on Twitter. So if you don't follow me on Twitter, make sure you do. The link to follow me is in the description. But yeah, we're in range, right? And you'll find that the market does follow inefficiencies and repair imbalances a lot. You know, we saw this move down this week where we repaired the weekend gap from last week, and in doing so, we left a weekend gap on Sunday night, which we've now backfilled. And you'll find that when the market is ranging, right? When the market is ranging, you'll find that it will often repair like imbalances, and far more often than if the market was trending, right? And you'll find that if the market is trending and leaving imbalances on the way up, it's not often that you see those imbalances get fully filled, but you'll find that in a ranging market, in a balanced market, right, you'll find that the market does stay balanced and it does repair these imbalances that are left, and these gaps, if you want to call it that. So we've sort of backfilled that weekend gap here, and I do think this does seem like a good place for a reversal on Bitcoin. At least if we don't reverse here, then looking to chase a long above sort of 92k with a target of 98 to 102k, probably get a good squeeze and a good move pricing in that rate cut. Prior weekly value area high here, also the developing quarterly value area low, which we can see so far for this quarter, has been a considerably strong level for BTC to try and get back above. Basically one good attempt back in October into FOMC. Again, we sort of priced in an FOMC rate cut, which they did, and then, you know, told us that they weren't considering one in December, which you know, evidently led to partly this sell-off, right? So now we're trading back towards this quarterly value area low. If we can reclaim back inside this quarterly value, expect to move, like I said, back towards 102k, back towards that quarterly VWAP. ETH, honestly, I don't have too much interest in ETH, especially with the way the DATs are going, and someone like Tom Lee heavily underwater. Personally, I'm looking for a bit of a capitulation under 2600 down to sort of 2400. Anywhere down there looks like a really nice place for a bounce on ETH if we can get it. The 2021 VWAP, 2022 value area high, and 2024 value area low. So overall, an important place to hold for ETH if we do trade down there, and somewhere I'm interested in picking up spot. Other than that, I'm not that interested in what ETH is doing. Super weak, and needs to reclaim sort of like 34 to 3600 for a chance at moving up. If it does reclaim 3600, then consider us to be so back, if you want to say it like that. The DXY continues to trade below 100 as well. As long as we do continue to trade below 100 to 101 on the DXY, expecting this to make new lows going into Q1, especially you know, right now this is just essentially moving on what the Fed are doing, like the dollar index. And you know, if we pair Bitcoin against this, right, if we put BTC over the top of this and compare the symbol, you'll find that we are pretty much inverse to what the dollar is doing, right? You can see that the dollar bottomed here, and then BTC went onto top again of the dollar, bottomed into the high, and then you know, DXY started to rally and BTC started to sell off, right? So we are pretty inverse to what the dollar is doing right now. So we have to consider this to be a big factor to Bitcoin and crypto market. If the dollar does reclaim 101, I think this will be pretty detrimental for crypto and especially Bitcoin. So to wrap things up, 2 positions I'm looking at taking right now. I currently have a limit short on Party into 189. I'm continuing to short altcoins. I do think that altcoins are, you know, these scam moves up, shorting the top gainers will continue to be profitable. You know, that's what I've been doing, and it's been working. So why change that? Any moves up for me are good for shorts lower. So looking at shorting a lot of these scam moves up. Same with ALCH, looking at getting short on this at some point. Right now I don't have a trigger. I would like a little bit higher, maybe above these wicks into 2-3 before considering a short. But Party is the main altcoin short I have my eye on right now into this high volume node POC around 0.188. So finally, to wrap it up, this is basically the outlook I have for the market right now in terms of like swinging positions. Looking at getting swing short on BTC anywhere from sort of 96 to 102. I do believe that if we see relief into there, that is a good place to see a rejection. And a good place to build a short position. For obvious reasons, if we do end up reclaiming 102 to 108k and I am invalidated on this short, then I think this is going to lead to new highs. A reclaim above 102k, even better above 108k, then we are going to be trading towards new all-time highs into Q1 of next year. That would be a really positive reclaim, but until then I do think we should view it as a bit of a bearish retest, right? Another position I'm looking at taking is building a swing long into 80k, similar sort of outlook to what we've done down here. If we could get a sort of chop / range into the end of the year into Q1 to build a long for a spot position or a swing long on BTC, then I want to do that into 80k. You know, after all, we are just ranging. You can essentially view this whole area as one big range, and this sort of deviation above the highs was during summer, and now we're back in range. So assuming we're in range and until proven otherwise, I'm gonna trade the range. That's pretty much going to do it for this week's Tuesday market review. Just some thoughts here, mostly remaining pretty neutral in terms of a bias. You know, we're just ranging right now on the lower time frame and even on the higher time frame. Just pick your spots correctly. It is December, so we have to consider that it's moving into holidays, so maybe less activity in the market. If you want to get daily thoughts or write-ups from me, then make sure you join the Discord. If not, you can see me on Twitter. I'm live on Twitch tomorrow, so I'll see you there if you can make it. Bye.